So the network flexibility is key. And then the second thing is about application performance. When you start to, for a company, whether they have an MPLS infrastructure existing, or whether they have, or whether it's a transition to MPLS for that customer, the concepts of QoS management tend to take a lot of time to work through with that customer. Typically, if we walk into a customer and they have some elements of MPLS in their network infrastructure today, you can pretty much guarantee that probably 40 or 50% of their traffic on that MPLS network will be just untagged or caught up in general internet tagging type of QoS management. But if you start to layer voice and video across that network, that will never work. That is a recipe for disaster. Many carriers will go to a company with 4 or 5 pretty generic planes of services, quality of services. We've broken it down a lot more than that, where you have your general kind of like internet traffic. It could be domestic, it could be global. You have priority traffic, which is typically their web-based or hosted applications, and 3 levels within that. You have critical traffic, and then you have voice and video across the top of it. You'll notice on Smoothstone, firstly, we tend to write our QoS charts upside down. Voice should really be #1 at the top, and I can't quite figure out how that happens, but voice is the priority plane for us. Video is second to that, and it's again just the quantity of voice calls which are happening on a network. It far exceeds the quantity of video calls that happen on it. But here what we're trying to do is give a very granular approach to QoS management, which is not only looking at the application type, but also on kind of like the business nature of that application. So instead of kind of like a web traffic just being called web traffic, Yahoo web traffic is very different than Salesforce.com web traffic or NetSuite type of web traffic. And the ability to actually identify specific applications and prioritize them in QoS is a key thing to me. So again, another important part of the process with Smoothstone in getting unified communications right for a customer is helping them through this approach to QoS management. This is something which is dynamic. It doesn't happen once. This is something that our NOC teams and our support teams are constantly working with our customers on to get right. Question here?
How easy is it for the customer to go to you, let's say they have all of a sudden the priorities change.
Yep.
They come to you with their configuration tables and say, do you do that for them? Do you allow them access into the...
It's really dependent on the customer. If the customer wants to do it themselves and wants access themselves, they can have that. If they want that to be done by Smoothstone's NOC, we'll do it. But we'll show you the tools right now. Because the third element of getting the network right is total transparency. Many customers, particularly if they've come from an AT&T managed network environment, and if you ever logged on to an AT&T managed network portal, chances are about 50% whether it actually load your data or not, and whether it will do it within a 2-minute, 3-minute time frame. But Mark, why don't you just bring up the NetStalk demo and take us through some of it.